Hello and welcome to this brief demo of GP Connect. My name is Matt Heslop. I'm the product owner for GP Connect at EMIS Health, and today I'll be walking you through the setup and configuration of GP Connect and then the appointments and HTML views modules. So first things first, to enable the software is to go into the configuration screen, navigate down to the organisation tab, highlight your organisation and click Edit. You should then on the left hand side see a tab for GP Connect configuration, which will give you the various tick boxes to enable the various different features for GP Connect. The top level feature will always need to be enabled, so you'll simply need to tick that and then tick down through the various different tree structure in order to identify the service you want to enable. Structured record will not be in use as of yet, as that will come in a later release, but today we'll cover the end user functionality for HTML views and appointments. So first things first, I'll demo the appointment screen. So when you go into the appointment book, you'll find two different options now after enabling it in the configuration screen. So you'll see GP Connect appointments and then GP Connect patient appointments. If I were to click Find GP Connect Patient Appointments, it will load a dialog, and I will then have to select a patient to book an appointment for. So I'll pick author at the top of the list. I'll then be able to select from an organisation group that I'll have to define. So I'll go and pick Grimston. And then that will load my appointment slots that I have available to me from another organisation. So these slots here have been retrieved from a federated organisation that's been set up within this practice. The search from and search to date will allow you to search across different date ranges, but must be within a 14-day range of each other. That's as dictated by the GP Connect specification. If I wish to go back and start again, I can click Clear Appointment Criteria and it will go back to the beginning. But in this instance, I'm going to book an appointment for author, so I've selected this slot here at 7:10 today. I'm going to click Book Appointment. Then within a few seconds, the Book Appointment dialog should load, so I can now see the date and the details of the appointment. Again, if I click the drop-down box, and then I can provide a comment, providing the description is mandatory, so it must be provided, but the comment is not. If I click Book, I then get the appointment booking confirmation, so I can see that the appointment's been booked successfully. If the appointment were to fail, that there would be an error dialog displayed here, and it would advise the user to contact EMIS Health Support. So the screen is now updated to remove that appointment slot. And the next thing I can show you to do is the GP Connect Patient Appointments dialog. So this will allow you to go and view a patient's appointments at any organisation that you've got set up within your organisation groups. So I'm going to pick Grimston only again, and I'll pick author. And then this shows you the appointments that are already booked for that patient. So as you can see, I've done a few tests before the recording this demo, so we have 4 slots to play around with. These will all appear in the future appointments dialog, which I can then right click on, and I have the option to either edit or cancel the appointment. If I were to edit, what I can do is I can edit the description or the comment. So if I remove test and put GP Connect instead and click OK, I will then get a confirmation that the appointment has been updated. Again, an error would be returned if it had failed. And then if I go back in and remember which slot I've picked, of course it was the first one, I can then see that the description has been updated to say GP Connect. What I can also then do is I can cancel that appointment, but I do have to provide a cancellation reason. Were I to click Keep Appointment there, it would keep the appointment and back out of this process. Now I've cancelled the appointment. The cancel appointment we'll move into the cancel appointments dialog at the bottom. And they do have the option to update the cancellation reason if it's supported by the source system. Now, those features were for the consumer side. If you are a provider, you will also want to set up an appointment session. To do that, you would click the Create Session button, fill in your session details as normal. And then you will need to tick the tick box for all slots GP Connect bookable and set that to yes. To indicate that the slots are now GP Connect bookable, you will see the globe icon on the left-hand side of the session preview. You also have the option at this point to apply some filters. So this will restrict what different organisations can do with these GP Connect slots. So there are 3 types of filters. So there are organisation type, organisation group, and a particular organisation. Organisation type would allow you to filter by either a GP practice or an urgent care centre booking appointments. You can then set the number of slots available to them, and then select whether you want to limit them to 10 slots or reserve 10 particular slots for urgent care organisations. Organisation group, in a similar way to the find slot dialog that I've previously demonstrated here, allows you to pick an organisation group, so it will restrict, similarly, organisations in that group to either a limit of 10 or a reservation of 10. And then last but not least, organisation will allow you to pick particular organisations from within your groups to set up a filter against those. So if I pick Grimston, again, I can limit them to either 10 or reserve them 10. If I start to exceed the number of slots that are in the session, so you can see at the top it says that it has 24. If I attempt to do something that contravenes that, so I try to reserve them 40 slots, an error will appear and say that the exceeded number of slots, entered slots, are exceeding the available slots. In order to confirm, all I need to do is click OK, and then I will see that one filter has been applied for this session. If I finish creating that session, I can then view and amend that session by finding it in the appointments dialog, go into session properties, and then I can edit the session filters here. After creation of the session, the only way to remove a GP Connect bookable slot is to right click and select slot properties, and then you can untick the GP Connect bookable field from within there. When creating the session, you also have the option to create a template from it. So the save as template feature works as it does currently, but will still save the GP Connect booking system. In order to set up the groups to support all this functionality, again, you would have to go into the organisation configuration module, organisation groups, and then within here, you'll see a list of groups that either already exist that have been created by other practices in your federation or area, or you can create a new one if you so wish. To do that, click on the Add button, name the organisation group, and click Enter. To add your org will automatically be added into the group, but if you wish to add other orgs in, click Edit, click on the magnifying glass icon, and you'll need to type in the ODS code of the corresponding org. So if I type in D2010, we get Grimston Surgery. So double click on them and it will add it into the group. You then have the option to remove any surgeries within the group by using the red cross icon. Upon clicking that and clicking OK, we'll be able to see that. In order to see the organisation group in the appointments dialog, you'll need to make sure that you subscribe to the group. So you'll be able to see here, if I go to this test org here, but this one's not subscribed, so it won't show in there. I need to make sure that the group is subscribed to, so you'll be able to see that. The icon now will change to unsubscribed organisation group. And then if I click on the filtered view here for subscribed organisation groups, I will see the ones that I am subscribed to. Then if I go back to the appointments module, click find slot, for example, I can then see the group that we've just created there. So if you were acting as a provider and a patient has arrived at your surgery for an appointment, you can then also view a HTML summary of their record. So again, I'm going to use author for this. Once I've loaded the care record, I'll need to expand the View My Record tab down the side here by clicking the little double arrow icon there. I should then be able to see GP Connect and the registered GP. Upon clicking that, it will go off and retrieve the record. So this record is kindly hosted by some colleagues at Vision. So as you can see here, the summary will provide active problems and issues, current medication issues, current repeat medications, allergies in the last 3 consultations. If I then go into the other tabs, I can view the patient's problems. So this provides me with their active problems and issues, and then inactive problems and issues, and then does provide me with a date range filter as well. Similarly for medications, I can filter by date range of medications, but the date range will only apply to past medications. Allergies and sensitivities. Allergies and sensitivities you cannot filter on by a date range. That's mandated by the GP Connect specification. Clinical items will show you a series of coded information that's in the patient record. These entries should not have values really associated with them. They would come under the observations tab. And again, you can filter by the date range. Encounters would be a list of all the patient's consultations that are within the date range that you provide. Immunisations will provide you with a complete immunisation record, that is, if the codes exist at the practice. Observations will show you coded clinical values. So if we can see here that there is a blood pressure reading, so we can see the systolic and diastolic values. Again, these are filtered by date ranges. Referrals would be a list of referrals on the patient system, obviously. Again, with the date range functionality. And administrative items are non-clinical coded items that appear in there. If you are going from using GP Connect to go from an EMIS web to an EMIS web system, administrative items won't be available, as administrative items aren't supported by EMIS web. One last thing to mention is that all the GP Connect functionality is only available to users with a smart card. But apart from that, as long as you have the right RBAC access roles for the various modules for EMIS web, the functionality should be available to you. More details can be found on the Support Centre, and if there are any further questions, please feel free to let us know. Thank you.